One small act of kindness can echo through time, returning to us in ways we never expect. This is the story of a poor tailor whose single gesture on a cold night came back years later, not just to save his shop, but to change his life forever. In a quiet little town, where the streets were lined with cobblestones and lanterns glowed faintly at night, there lived a poor tailor named Kareem. His hands were skilled, his heart was soft, but his pocket was always empty. Every day he sat in his small shop, mending old clothes for people who often paid him late, or sometimes not at all. Still, Kareem never complained. One winter evening, as the bitter wind blew and the sky darkened, Kareem was about to lock his shop. Just then, he noticed a young traveler sitting on the steps outside. The boy's face was pale, his clothes thin and torn, and his lips shivered from the cold. Kareem walked closer and asked gently, "Son, what are you doing here in this freezing weather? Don't you have a place to stay?" The boy looked up with tired eyes and whispered, "No, sir. I have no home here, no money either. I was on my way to the next city, but I am too weak to continue." Kareem's heart ached. Though he had little himself, he could not let the boy suffer. He opened the shop door and said warmly, "Come inside, child." You cannot fight the cold out here. Kareem lit a small fire in the stove, boiled some lentils, and shared his simple dinner with the boy. Then he took out an old coat, stitched it quickly with his skilled hands, and wrapped it around the boy. Tears welled up in the boy's eyes. "You have treated me like a son, but I have nothing to give you in return," he said in a broken voice. Kareem smiled and placed his hand on the boy's shoulder. "Goodness does not need payment, my child. Just remember, if ever you can, pass this kindness to someone else." The boy held Kareem's hands and replied firmly, "No, sir. I will never forget your face, your warmth, or your kindness. One day, I will repay this favor." And with that, the boy left the next morning, carrying with him not just a stitched coat, but also a stitched memory in his heart. Time, as always, moved on. Kareem grew older and weaker. His eyesight dimmed, his hands trembled, and work became harder. To make matters worse, business in the town declined. People preferred bigger shops in the city, and Kareem's little tailor shop lost its customers. One day, cruel news struck. The landlord demanded that Kareem pay all his overdue rent within a week, or he would lose his shop forever. Kareem sat in despair, his head in his hands. He had given his whole life to this shop, and now it was slipping away. "Ya Allah," he whispered, "I helped others when I could. Will no one help me now?" A few days later, a carriage arrived in the town. It was led by a group of officials, and at the front was a young, well-dressed man whose presence commanded respect. The townspeople whispered, "He must be an officer from the city." That evening, the officer walked through the market and stopped suddenly in front of Kareem's old shop. His eyes widened, his heart stirred, and memories rushed back. He entered, and Kareem looked up weakly. The tailor's face was older, lined with wrinkles, but the kindness in his eyes was the same. The officer stepped forward and said softly, "Do you remember me?" Kareem squinted, searching the man's face. I'm sorry, sir. My eyes are not as sharp as they used to be." "Have we met before?" The young man smiled, his voice trembling with emotion. "Yes, Uncle Kareem. Years ago, on a cold winter night, you fed a hungry boy, gave him a coat, and saved him from freezing." Kareem's eyes widened. His hands shook as he whispered, You are that traveler?" "Yes," the officer nodded. "That boy was me. Today, I return not only as your guest, but as someone who owes you everything." The officer immediately paid Kareem's debts and bought the tailor shop in his name, so no one could ever take it away again. He gave Kareem a generous sum of money to live comfortably and ordered his men to renovate the shop. Kareem was overwhelmed. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he said, "My son, I never expected anything in return. I only did what my heart told me." The officer took Kareem's hands and replied with a smile, "And I only did what my heart told me. You once saved me with kindness, and today I am honored to save you in return. Truly, uncle, favor is always repaid with favor." Moral of this story is that a good deed never dies. It may sleep in someone's heart for years, but one day it wakes and returns with greater strength. Helping others is like planting seeds. You may forget the seed, but the tree it grows into will one day give you shade.